everybody. Welcome back to Cooking with Max. And here we are from the Eye of the Commonwealth, Southbridge, Massachusetts, which is home to the former AO, and it's home to local cooking shows, and it's home to some of the best tap water to be found anywhere in the entire country, and it's home to me, and it's summertime right now. And so what we're doing today, we're going to talk about some foods we're going to cook mainly on the grill, and they include some nice pork ribs that I just picked up at the Bunny, and we got some nice corn on the cob that we're going to fix up real well, just special a la Cooking with Max, and we're going to put that on the grill as well. And we're also we're going to prepare a nice Rotini 3-colored pasta salad made with veggies and stuff, so that nobody accuses us here in Mantown of just being cavemen and eating nothing but meat. So we're going to have that salad as well, just to show that we're actually civilized. And also what we're going to do is we're going to make some burgers, but they're going to be a little bit fancy, and we're going to roll some ingredients in them, and we're going to put some blue cheese in one of them, call it a French burger, and we're going to put some feta cheese and maybe some ground olives into another one with the onions, and we're going to call that a Greek burger, even though of course a burger is an all-American thing. And we'll go out and grill those on our grill as well here in the summertime on Cooking with Max. So we've got all this stuff to do, and we're going to get started right now by starting a big rack of pork ribs, and it's the kind of thing that requires a little bit of preparation ahead of time. And so what I'm going to do now is start that process. And so what I have here in my nice dry bag, I just took it out of my refrigerator, is a 4-pound bag of pork ribs, and they've been stored for a while now. We're just getting them stored ahead of our show, but you can see what it looks like. And there it is, a nice big chunk of meat. And that's here, and that's part of our one of our meats that we're showing today. But what we're going to do with that meat is we're going to put a rub on the outside of it. And what that does, it's going to impart its flavor right into our meat, and we're going to make the rub right now on Cooking with Max, and I'm going to show you how. And then we're going to put it in the fridge for 4 hours minimum, or preferably overnight, and then that'll allow all that flavor to impart itself right there into that nice pork ribs, and it'll add to the goodness that we'll have later on after we cook it. So what I'm going to do is prepare the rub to put on our meat, and what I have here is a bowl. And what I'm going to do is just add the ingredients that we're going to need for our meat, and these ingredients include the following. You've got some nice ground cumin, and we're going to put a tablespoon of that into our big bowl. And we're going to take some ground coriander, a tablespoon of that, and that's going to go into our recipe. Sometimes I have pretty generous tablespoons, as any long-term viewers know. Sometimes my tablespoons are pretty thick. Now we've got some nice celery salt, and that's part of our recipe too, and that's going to be part of our rub for our pork ribs, and we'll put some of that on there. Boy, it's a special day here today in New England. Yesterday was Jason Bay's first game, and anybody who's a Red Sox fan knows that Jason Bay has the unenviable task of replacing Manny Ramirez in left field, and that's going to be tough, a tall order for anyone, but the whole Manny saga is over, and I'm sure everyone's tired of talking about it. But for a long-term Mantown baseball fan such as myself, it is a passing in Red Sox history. Manny's off to the Dodgers. Anyway, here's our tablespoon of celery salt that's going to go in our rub as well. I wonder about Manny, if they're going to make him cut his hair out there, if Joe Torre's going to make him get a haircut. Alright, now we're going to add a little sesame seed. Not too much, just a bit. And now, 2 tablespoons of ground pepper. I already ground some. I'm going to ground another tablespoon in there, and of course everybody claims that when you ground it fresh like that, it's so much better, and I always go along with that. So there you got 2 tablespoons of ground pepper. Now, the ingredient that you can adjust for your rub is the one that contains the chili powder. And I have here, that I picked up down at the Ocean State Job Lot just today, and their copious and cheap spice rack that they have down there, is some Cajun spice seasoning. Now the recipe with the 4 pounds of ribs calls for ½ a cup of your chili powder, whatever you're going to use. Either chipotle, which I've used on another piece today, or there's a style that's called New Mexico chili powder. You can put that, but I found this down there and I'm going to use it. and it calls for 1/2 cup. And this is the main ingredient in your rub. Now I'm going to warn you right now that anything this potent with this much chili in it is going to be hot, hot, hot. So 1/2 cup is about like that. And so we'll put that in there. Now we're going to stir them all together in preparation for when we're going to put it onto our meat. I'm going to use my fingers. Anytime you're handling meat like that, anytime you're handling beef, you have to wash your hands, of course. And see how that's all blending in? And that's going to go right on top of our beautiful roast. Well, that's pretty good. Not too bad. Okay, let me get my roast from over here. I mean the roast. I keep calling it a roast. It's actually ribs. Roast is for winter. Right now it's summer. There we go. Put it right in my clean surface like that. And all I'm going to do is put this over the top like so. I'm going to use my hands. Unless you're afraid of your fingies. If you're afraid of your fingies, you can put on some cook gloves if you like. But see how I'm putting that in there like that? And that's going to get a little more here. About that much, see? There we go. Let me flip them on over. Get this side here. Look at that. Oh, isn't that pretty? Gonna tuck it into all the little nooks and crannies like that. Now this stuff is very potent. All that chili is gonna give it a nice outdoor pizzazz flavor that we want. We want some zippity doo-dah on our meat. That's what we're going for with this nice pork ribs. So anyway, that's good enough. We put it in there now. We're gonna put it back in the bag, like so. And now, the recipe calls that you store this for at least 4 hours in your fridge or overnight. So we're going to do just that with this one. We're going to seal it nice and clean like so. Get out some of the air. I'm using a big dry bag for the purpose. Oop, let me get some more air out. And open that up again and burp this thing. It's not quite like burping a baby. You're burping it like so. Alright, that's good. Now it's ready for the fridge. Off it goes for at least 4 hours, as I said, and then we'll revisit it later on when we're ready for the next step, which is to put it in the 200-degree oven for 3.5 to 4 hours, which is what you do to prepare it for your final step, which is to put it on your charcoal grill versus your gas grill. And I use a gas grill like everyone else for the convenience, but a charcoal grill will add a little bit of essence to this beautiful roast. It'll make it even more of a beautiful thing. The oven part, the long slow cook like that, will make these ribs nice and tender and easy to pull off the bone because it's summertime and your guests, they don't feel like working any harder than they have to. They just want to eat your delicious recipe. So let's put it away now and it'll get all set for the next step in its cooking process. Oh, hi there, and you're back again. And also I have here in front of me, I have more pork ribs. But in addition to doing the chipotle one that we already took out of the oven and that we are preparing for our charcoal barbecue, I also wanted to try a different recipe since we're cooking. And what I'm doing here is just hacking my way through this bone any way I can. I've got a serrated edged knife, and this is the same roast, but I want it to be broken into bits of rib like this. And generally, when you're doing this, you can find the seam along the bone, and it can be tough and it can be arduous, but it's in there somewhere. You can make your way through it, like I'm doing right here. Oop, that's bone, that's bone. There's a soft spot. Not cutting your finger off as usual on our show. We tend to frown on that kind of activity. And if your serrated knife doesn't work, you get his big friend right here, which may give it a little more oomph to make its way through. And you know it can be done because I've already done it right here. And there we go. There's a spot. There we go. No, maybe not. Up, 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 up. Up. No. He's being stubborn. This last bit of rib here, he's gonna be stubborn. There we go. Meet my little friend. Anyway, now we've got pork ribs. And what we're going to do with these, you could put them on the grill like that if you wanted to cook them for about 2 hours on real slow, but we don't want to wait that long. What we're going to do is speed the process along, and we're going to put these in boiling water and sort of blanch, perhaps, but suck some of the grease out and pre-cook it and try to get the bone warm, because the key to cooking anything on a grill or any meat like that has a bone like this or chicken is to cook that bone too. So we're going to dump these in our boiling salted water for about 20 minutes just to get them pre-cooked, like so. And here is our promised boiling water. And our ribs go in like this, being careful not to singe our little fingers on the way. Like that. Maybe I'll use a spoon. And that'll start the cooking process. Note the time, 20 minutes later. Let me turn the heat down so we don't splash over the top while we're doing something else. Now while these guys are getting pre-cooked, we're going to prepare the sauce that we're going to put on them as part of the recipe. What it consists of is we're going to take 1/2 cup of honey, like so. Oh, nice thick honey, huh? And to that, we're going to add 1/2 cup of dark molasses that's just so thick and sweet and molasses flavored, and add so much to that pork. Look at that, beautiful, huh? That looks like a Guinness almost. So dark. Now it's going to mix in with that honey, both so very sweet. To that, we've got 1/2 cup of brown sugar. We're going to pour right in there, like that. And then to that, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, just to give it, those won't blend in, they'll stay whole like that, and when your guest is biting his pork rib later on, maybe he'll get a nice cooked sesame seed on the edge and he'll recognize the flavor. And then to that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of ground ginger, just to give it that kind of flavor. To our sweet, we're going to add some ginger. Alright, that's what we've got, everything right there. Now I'll take a fork here and stir it up. And again, our ribs are back there boiling, they're getting ready for this too. Oh, this is just so thick, which is just what we want. Oh, nice thickness. Oh, it smells so sweet too. It's going to stick to those ribs. Now, later on, when we go to the grill and we cook those ribs, we're going to cook them probably for about 15 minutes. But the whole time we're cooking them, we're not cooking them with this on it. We're only going to add this glaze here over the last maybe 2 minutes. So just give it just long enough to cook on your ribs, but not so long that it's going to burn on there, because we don't want that. The ribs are cooked just fine without the glaze, but you don't want it to burn onto your ribs. Now that is just thick. It's sweet and delicious. It looks so good. Okay, that's a big part of your recipe right there. And that you apply in globs and smooth it out. Alright, very good. We'll leave that right there. We'll go back here and we will check on our boiling ribs to make sure they're not causing a big mess. Oh, they're coming along famously. Yeah, that bone's going to be cooking, and that's going to be done, and we're going to put them on the grill for the final tasting. But those will have to wait now for about 14 more minutes or so, and then we'll check in on them and we'll continue, and we'll be right back.